All right, good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. Meeting of the Carver Select Board for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Select Board meetings are broadcast live and are also recorded by Area 58 Community Access Media Channel 9 and will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. There are openings on several committees. Please refer to the front page on our website for a listing and application. If we could all stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Carter, if you could read our community prayer. Sure.
Almighty God, humbly we pray your blessing as we concern our life with the opportunity to serve our community. Enhance us with your spirit and dignity and spirit of dignity and selflessness. May we become instruments of support and understanding as we seek to bring an environment of trust and purpose among all who provide the many services that make us all that we can become. Help us achieve the goals of our commitment in this office that is now our responsibility, and especially we lift our prayers for all the citizens of our community that we have been allowed to serve, that they may discover the fullness and joy of life that we all seek. And keep those serving in our armed forces and our first responders in our hearts and thoughts. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Carter. All right, the first item on our agenda this evening is, as always, is citizens' participation. We ask that all statements made during citizens' participation be kept to a maximum of 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Yeah?
Is this a microphone now?
Yes, that's right there. You could just identify yourself for the folks at home.
Brenda Johnson, 28 Pine Ridge Way. I'm here to support a local business, not just one, but all of them. You go into a business or a new experience with high hopes that you can receive support from the town and the local community. Sometimes this doesn't happen or it takes longer than originally thought. You base your budget off these hopes, and when it doesn't happen as you planned, you can't do exactly what you wanted to do, so you must change your course of direction. I'm hoping that the town will take into consideration when dealing with new businesses. We all come here with the best intentions, but to hold someone to the original plan when they can't financially do it doesn't seem fair. Most of the townspeople want businesses to fill the empty spaces in town and not have buildings that look abandoned or unkept. Please be the board that makes a change and dedicates time to working with the businesses, both old and new. I also want another subject. I drove down Rochester Road today. Eversource has removed all the old poles. The new poles are up, the new lines are up. Looks amazing.
Good.
So I'd like to know that. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? Sir? Thank you.
Robert Belbin, 26 Gate Street. What I just handed was an open meeting law complaint. It goes back to the December meeting that you held with your executive session, and you failed to say what you were going in to litigation about. And I told you that when I sat here. I told you violated the open meeting law. It gave you the opportunity to say, we made a mistake. We're sorry. We discussed this. Didn't happen. Gave you time. Still didn't happen. And to this day, it doesn't happen. You could have made an addendum to your agenda that you put in, all right, to let the people know this is what we talked to. What's really funny, because if you look at the agendas after the fact, you then put it in, what you talked about in litigation in those executive sessions. You got to do the thing the right way. You got to admit when you're wrong, when you screw up, okay? Any board member can stand up and say, hey, Mr. Belbin's right, we screwed up. This is what we talked about. And nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. So now I'm holding you accountable that you can go to the Attorney General's office and tell them, hey, guess what? Yeah, we screwed up. We never had a chance to turn around and apologize, but we did. Because we did it right after the fact, we did it right before the fact, but this one we didn't do it, and why not? So that's number one. Number two is, what's going on in this town hall? We got a town planner that's out. We got a IT director leaving, and I just saw him downstairs wanting to get into his office. Don't know what that's about, okay? And then we have the conservation agent now is gone. 3 top people in our town are gone. There's something wrong with management in this town if we have people doing this, going. For whatever reason it would be, who knows? But you guys, as the select board, need to hold those people over there accountable for their actions. Because if you don't, then it's the taxpayers that will hold you guys accountable when it comes time for election day. Next thing is, the driveway at the Cole property, there's ruts in it, needs to get fixed, okay? We had our propane delivery today, and he was afraid of getting stuck in there, and luckily he didn't, all right? So that needs to be taken care of. The personnel code you guys are gonna talk about tonight, since the personnel code holds all of the boards and committees, if you are a member of them, to those standards, which, to be honest, you guys don't hold them to the standard, because Pat Mahar is still on the Finance Committee, even though what he did violated the Personnel Code. Every member of a board or committee should have one person on this committee for the Personnel Code, because we're going to be held accountable for it, so we should have a say in how it's done, so that's what you guys need to turn around and do. And finally, again, holding you guys accountable. You held a public hearing. Held a public hearing. You guys took votes with not one public comment, without one saying, I'd like to turn around and hear from the people. Anybody in here want to talk? Want to stand up for it? How is that a public hearing, guys? How is it? A public hearing allows the public to come up here and say something. Whether there's people in this off room here that want to say something or don't, you still have to give them that opportunity. It's called integrity. Either you have integrity or you don't. That public hearing should be null and void because you guys didn't follow the rules of a public hearing. Okay, if you Eversource came up here at a public hearing for a poll and said, hey, yeah, we want a poll, and you guys turn around and said, oh, nope, nobody can talk about your public hearing. Neighbors, residents, taxpayers, hey, you don't get to speak. Well, guess what? I'm holding you accountable now. You guys failed us, and you guys need to be held accountable. I'm not happy.
Thank you, Mr. Belvin. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board this evening? Ma'am?
Hi. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for serving and everything that you
Just
do.
identify yourself for the folks at
Yes.
home.
Trish Shropshire is my name. I live at Pine Ridge Way, 28. And I just wanted to show support for 3 SIPs. We're really excited that they're in the location that they are. The smokehouse closed, we got the new business in. We're just hoping that the young owners can survive, and we'd like to support them. So I'm hoping whatever is going on with the fence, it's not something that's going to put them out of business, and I just wanted to show their support. We all love it there. I'm not a beer drinker, but the food is great. I hope you all get to experience it. Thank you, and thank you again for all you do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right. Mr. Cannon, I will pass this over to you. Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda this evening is a Class 2 license hearing. It's a request for a Class 2 used car license for Carver Gas Corp. located at 249 Tremont Street. Is there anyone here to represent Carver Gas? Welcome.
Do we need to make a motion to open the hearing?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
I would entertain a motion to open the
All
hearing.
right, I'll make a motion to open the hearing for the Class 2 license.
Second.
All right, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. We also have our building inspector here this evening. I'd like to ask you to come up, just in case there's any questions.
Hi, I'm Jessica Nassif. I live on Stockbridge Road in Hanover, Mass. I represent Carver Gas.
Okay, if you'd just like to tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
We're just trying to, they previously had a 6-car used car license at this location. We're just trying to get the same license back.
Okay. That's it?
Pretty simple, yeah.
Short and sweet. Are there any residents here who would like to speak about this? All right, we have a couple. If you'd like to come up and take a seat over here.
Okay.
One at a time, just right over here, and again, introduce yourself for the folks at home.
Yep. Thank you. Have a seat. George Laureate, 248 Tarrant Street.
Oh, great. If you could just move the microphone a little closer to yourself.
248 Tremont Street.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I look directly into and my driveway leads straight into Church Street. So if you have a sense of the dynamics of all that. We were supposed to get a plan inside here, but I didn't get one. I don't know what happened with that. Now, the last time when the original plan came out, actually, came up and I was opposed to it because the street itself it's got plenty of problems by itself. There's something like 50 different exits, in that small area. And if you think about it, coming down the other side of Church, you also have the fire department, and it's the shortcut that most of the time, so almost all your first responders use that street, coming right past it. And what we have now is the level of traffic from when that originally was proposed has probably doubled at this stage. And it's going to change even more so with the change in, when you moved the fare down, the pattern that changed so that Tremont Street became the main alternative route, which it has been in the past, but now the density of traffic has just gone up incredibly. There's so many, what's really different over the time I've lived there is all of a sudden we have Class 7, Class 8 trucks regularly. So this brings me to the question on the cars. Is the problem, we came in with a compromise, and that's what you have in front of you. I happen to like the guy who was running it, so we kind of worked out a compromise. I'm against it largely because I think the conditions have changed so much. It's just not the same street it was when that was first discussed. If you bring in a large, and this is where it would be on you guys to figure out, if you're bringing your cars in at night, which is what they did, and then unloading them, that street is essentially blocked off. It was being done pretty late at night, and of course, when you back when you get a Class 7, Class 8, and you're bringing those trucks in, that's over 50 feet of truck. I mean, that's, right off the get-go. So if you're moving so that essentially blocks off, if you back that in to drop your cars, that actually that just blocks it off. So had there ever been a situation where you had a first responder, that exit was blocked. It was outright blocked. And on top of that, in terms of just general neighborhood stuff, when they brought the trucks in at night, I mean, you woke up. There was no way around it. Because if you back up any of those, how they have the normal, it's just basic safety mechanisms so all the lights go off and the siren, boom, boom, boom. So you can't sleep through that. You're not going to sleep through it. So, but again, I really did have a pretty good relationship with the older gentleman who owned it before. So, I sort of said, well, I'm not going to kick up a fuss over that. But before we go into whether this should be rubber stamped or not, I think we ought to take a look at the traffic and how that's changed. The other thing about coming through there is there's no clear demarcation for a stop off of the street. So the traffic patterns itself are not, if you're driving down that, as it happens often, you can't tell where a stop line is. You can't tell any of that. And they have to be none of that's painted or very clear. So I think you're going to find that without taking into account the change in traffic patterns and just the normal change that's happened over the last decade, this would be this would not be a good idea to do, not at this stage. It might have been a good idea, like I said, 10 years ago or so, it was kind of borderline. Now I'd say no, I really would. But again, I didn't have a chance. I mean, I think you can, we get the map. Yeah, matter of fact, that goes right into where I am. But you can see, try to envision what 53 feet or even 25 feet extra across that road. I mean, you just don't have it. You don't have the turn-in radius. It isn't there. So I know we went through this before. There's got to be, I mean, I hate to put any damper on someone's business. I'm a small business owner myself, and I don't like the idea of it. And I make money off of trucks, especially big trucks. So it's hard for me to sit up here and say, but I just don't think it's the thing to do. I just don't. I mean, the vehicles are too big. The only time you can get in there safely is at night, and that keeps us up. And so I guess that's my argument is that as far as the way I look at it is I just think as a safety issue and general, especially with a change in traffic patterns, I just don't see how this is going to work very well. I'm sure that at some point in time we'll have a problem, and then we'll all say, why'd we do it?
Okay.
Thanks,
Well,
gentlemen.
hang on, please stay there for a minute before we, I'll
Okay.
give you a chance to speak in a minute, but do any members of the board have any questions for this gentleman?
I think it's pretty
It's
obvious
clear.
from
No.
I think you can see it, it's up there. And if you're gonna, and I think everybody around here has probably gone down Tremont Street. And as you know, it's supposed to be 25. We're running many times at 50. I mean, I can't, you can't even go out to your mailbox without being very careful. You can't, there's like with if you look at how especially on my side of the road, the opposite side, it's very difficult for people to get out. Because of the Wareham Street the line of sight isn't there. So without that line of sight, you've got seconds. So it's much easier now. What people are doing is going right, going down to Dave's and turning around. So they're not even going to attempt to do the left. That's where we're at right now. I would have suggested, maybe I should have suggested this a few years ago, that we put some form of lights in. They were knocked over quite a few years ago, maybe about 20 years ago. The light actually got knocked out on the Wareham Street corner. We never really talked about it, but it does, and what does have an impact actually on that street is when the town puts up the slow down, and it does help a little because it gives us, people do slow down so you have some line of sight. But it's, again, the way those traffic patterns are now, it's so different than it was when we were talking about this years ago. And if you go back, when I bought in there, we never even had Class 7, Class 8s running down the street, except when we were doing the cranberry business. So it's a very different scenario that we have now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm willing to, obviously, I don't want to put anybody in a bad spot either.
So I definitely want to address your concerns. So your biggest concern is like an 18-wheeler dropping off multiple vehicles
Yeah,
sort of
and it
situation?
depends on the time of day, too.
That's not a thing, that's not something we're trying to do. We're looking for just a couple cars, which would either
Well, we had, I think with the last time we did this, I believe we sat down and worked out that 11 would work in the lot. The trouble I have now is that even when we did the 11, the deliveries had to be done at night because, obviously, because of road, because it's crazy to try to put a car in there or a bunch of cars in there at the same time during the day. And so, my bedroom happens to look right over into the gas station. Well, bang, so red lights on, I'm up. That's the way it is. I mean, especially if you're hardwired for that in the first place. So,
Okay.
I don't know if anybody on board is, if you've been a responder at some point or in the military, and you see that red light, you're up. And, you just, I find that it's, again, it was acceptable when we originally did it because, one, we did talk it out. We did talk it out. And then when we got here, we kind of already had a sort of arrangement figured out, what would be a reasonable compromise. But I'd say the conditions have changed. And I really fear for something like what I really fear the most is if we have a fire call or there's an accident, and you're trying to get down there as fast, that's down the Church Street, and then you're in the middle of it, you know, and it's tough enough now. It's tough enough now.
Okay. And just as a point of information, the fire chief, the fire department and the police department both did sign off
Yeah.
on this. So,
Well, I'm not surprised about that, but we have a tendency to react after the issue, not before it. And this is a good chance to say, well, maybe we ought to think this one over.
appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Was there someone else that wanted? Yes. Yes. I'm sorry, did you have something?
No, I just wanted to address his
Okay.
concern.
Thank you for coming in this evening. You could just name and address for the folks at
Sure.
home?
My name's Sharon Mix, 251 Tremont Street, and my bedroom also overlooks the gas station and has for the last 37 years. So I don't have a problem. I guess I'm kind of the opposite of the opposite.
Right there on the other side of it.
Yeah. I've never, so before these folks owned it, and the other owner owned it, I never saw any problems with Church Street being blocked. I never, I guess, woke up to the 18-wheelers delivering cars in the night. Maybe I'm just a heavier sleeper, I don't know, but it wasn't an issue at our house. What I do know, you're correct in saying that the volume of traffic has increased, but I don't believe that's really their fault, and I don't believe having a few cars on that property for sale is going to make a difference. I want their business to succeed. I feel that if they do have customers and people stopping, that indeed it might slow down that road a little bit, because trucks are going to go, oh, there's a gas station coming up here. There's things going on. I better slow down. That's how I look at it anyway. I think it's just the nature of the beast. South Carver is a pretty cool place to live, and there's a lot of traffic that goes through, and there's nothing that I can do about it, you can do about it, or she can do about it. But I think it's really immaterial that the cars, having a few cars for sale on that lot will make a difference to the traffic patterns. I think that's two separate issues. Like, that has nothing to do with the cars. They get delivered. I think you were trying to say that they wouldn't come on an 18-wheeler, Jess?
Right.
Probably one at a time?
Yes.
With one of your kids driving it there?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's a different plan, perhaps.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for me?
Any questions from the board?
No?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there any other residents that would like to speak to this evening? Mr. Palmer? Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple of comments. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Rod Palmer, Carver Building Commissioner. And so one thing I think is important to understand is this gas station slash retail store slash used car lot is a protected, legally non-conforming use. So that district is a village district where that type of use, a service station, that's what a gas station is recognized as, is a service station. That use is not an allowed use in that district. But, certainly you have legacy status and they're protected. I think it's been there, I'm guessing, probably 70, 80 years maybe more. It's been there a long time. So in situations such as hers, where they are proposing to expand, and I know they've had a license there for a number of years. I'm not exactly sure how many vehicles were there. I've heard 1 to 2, I've heard 5 to 6, I've heard times where there's been no vehicles for months. But when we look at this plan, if you look at the back part of the lot, where you see that edge of pavement, and then you see the landscape island, and you see those few spaces, it looks like, I don't know, maybe 9 spaces back there. There's a septic system, I think, back there. So that's an area where there's never been vehicles. So in situations like this, where you have a legally non-conforming use that's been in existence for a long time, when you are proposing to expand that use, it requires a special permit before the Zoning Board of Appeals. And And it's a good thing. And what it does is it gives all the neighbors within 300 feet, all of the abutters, a notice, and it gives them an opportunity to voice their opinion or any concerns or show up at the ZBA hearing to ask questions. It's a vetting process. So I'm not here in opposition of a license, but what I'm here to speak of is that that back portion that is on this plan for automobiles is something that should not be utilized as shown on the plan until there's been a special permit granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So the front lot where the cars were typically kept, there should be a space or whatever number of spaces would be required for the retail use where people can park their car, go in and buy a loaf of bread. And then there should be, when you've met that minimum requirement, whether that's 1, 2, or 3 spaces, then the remaining spaces could be saying that possibly those could be for the used vehicles. But the used vehicles that you're selling should not be in the back at this time until you've gotten a special permit from the ZBA. And I spoke to Jessica. We had a conversation today. I let her know the reason behind it, so she understands.
Okay, so I have so the board is clear. So what the applicant would do is go to the ZBA, get the special permit, then come back and seek the license approval from us?
Well, I'm not so sure that would be the process. I mean, keep in mind, there's been a license there issued for many, many years, and I'm not opposed to a license being issued tonight. There's 2 different things. We have the license that's granted by your board, and then we have the use and occupancy that's a zoning matter. So for zoning purposes, that back portion of the lot should not be utilized to stack automobiles for sale. It's something that should be vetted through the special permit process, so the neighbors can have an opportunity to go and talk about it. So I'm not opposed, I'm not saying that a license shouldn't be issued. I'm just letting the applicant know that automobiles cannot be kept or stacked in that back part of the lot until a special permit has been granted by the ZBA, to give the neighbors an opportunity to address any concerns that they might have.
Yeah. So if the automobiles weren't stacked in the back part of the lot, where would the automobiles be kept?
Well, I don't
Off-site
know.
somewhere, correct? So you're recommending
Well-
that they not be kept on site?
Well, it's a lot. I'm not exactly sure how many parking spaces are there now.
Okay.
Not including that. In this plan, I don't believe is exactly what is there. I think it's a proposed plan, if I...
Correct.
Right. So I know there's room on the lot for patrons to go in and buy a gallon of milk, but there also has to be some spaces to put the used cars. So what I'm saying is we have to provide parking spaces for people going into the store. And then whatever is remaining, I'm not exactly sure what it might be, those could be the area or the spaces where you put the used automobiles. But they can't go in that back part because we have a use directly behind that. We have neighbors to the left, we have neighbors to the right, and perhaps the Zoning Board of Appeals might find that there's the need for a fence or some other conditions that might make it somewhat more tolerable for the neighbors. So this process to expand a non-conforming use is something that gives the neighbors an opportunity to vet this out.
I just wonder if during that process with the Zoning Board of Appeals, if some of the neighbors that would be invited to participate might not bring something up that this board might feel valuable or is important in considering issuing the license. That's just, that thought occurs to me, that could happen. Other questions for Mr. Palmer from the board? Mr. Ryan?
So the question would be, they were asking for 5 vehicles, but is it possible to grant a license for less than that to still accommodate the situation of the property here? So I didn't hear that number. I've heard this, and maybe that can be
Can I
answered
address
as
this
to
real
what
quick?
is the minimum.
Just before we go with that, what I'm looking for, this plan, when I had the engineering drawn up, what I wanted him to show was potential maximum volume of the property. That's not what I need. I just wanted you to be able to see how much could be done there. Now, the only thing I'm asking for is the same license he already had, which is on the paved, whatever you gave him with the paved property. not including that grass back lot.
And I guess the question is, where were those, how many vehicles and where were those vehicles on the lot?
right.
If we're saying that you have to have parking for patrons, then where were those, how many vehicles was the previous license? Did you say?
My understanding, and I haven't seen this in writing, was that he had a 6-car.
And where were those 6 cars? I guess that's the question.
I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, there's a lot of spots there. If we didn't use the grass lot, you could park against the grass lot. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't have those back there, that area would be opened up. You see, there's 2 spots behind the building. There's not any allocated spots on the left-hand side of the building. There could be allocated spots there. There's no allocated spot on the right. There could be a spot there. So there's a lot of potential spots. All I'm looking for, I don't need to park, I don't even plan on parking on that grass or paving that area at all. All I'm looking for is the previous license that he already had.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just on the new license application, it's clearly maximum number of vehicles is listed as 5.
On that application. But my question is, where are they going to go?
Yeah.
And would we have to confirm that that's the original 5 is the original license, that's what was on the original license, or do we know for sure?
I don't have it in the packet. We can confirm that, though.
I don't have that either.
And Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that you do probably continue the hearing until after the ZBA. I think it puts the town in an awful position if you approve in the ZBA.
I'm not looking to go to the ZBA. I'm not looking to use that back lot.
Well,
I'm perfectly fine with putting it in writing that we're not going to park any cars back there.
Well, then, if that's the case, I guess I'd like to see a plot plan that shows where those vehicles would go. You know,
Well,
where
nobody's
we-
told me how many spots I need for the store. That's why I showed you all the spots.
Okay, so I'm still not clear as to how many vehicles you could actually fit on the property on that plan. Is it 2 vehicles? Is it 3?
Do you want me to?
Sure. Sure, if you could show where the vehicles would go.
So these are 2 spots here on the back of the building. These are all spots here. That's not including the spot that's over here. That's not including parking against that grass area at all.
And the patrons that visit, that go to the store, where do they usually park?
There's also no spot. 90% of the people park on this side. I don't know what legally you guys want as far as parking spots. That's why I kind of just left it open.
Mr. Palmer? do
So
you
I
have
can
thoughts
address
on
that, yeah, sure. So the parking requirements are based on the square footage of the building. Typically, when you hire an engineer to do a plan, the engineer would become cognizant of the parking requirements within our zoning bylaws, and they would look at the use, they would look at the size of the building, determine how many parking spaces would be required for that building. And for a building that size, it's probably only 3 or 4 spaces. And I think it's important to understand that I think this plan is not what is actually out there. So when we look at these parking spaces shown on this plan, they're not actually out there. I don't believe that the parking spaces that are shown here is exactly striped at the site.
They're not striped,
Yeah. So
but they are paved.
yeah, so it's paved, it's just not striped.
Correct.
So this plan shows us something that's really not actually there. So what?
The parking spots are there. There's just not paint on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I understand that. But when we look at this plan, you know, I see a handicap spot, I see 4 more spaces, I see a couple in the back. So if you can have a number of parking spaces to accommodate the use, and then you have 5 or 6 spaces left over, maybe those 5 or 6 spaces could be the spaces for your used cars. And that's what I'm trying to say. When we go out, if we drove out there right now, we would just see a parking lot without any of that.
Without any stripes on the ground.
Yes.
Yes. So do you want me to stripe it and come back?
Well, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just
Okay.
trying to help you understand that the building itself, for the retail sales that you have, needs to have X number of parking spaces. So let's say that number is 4, and you have 10 spaces left, then that would yield you 6 spaces for used automobiles.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Yes.
the existing permit does list 5 spaces, 5 used cars. So,
Thank you. All right. Any other questions from the board? Anyone?
So I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Hall.
So the license says 5, so that's a maximum of 5 that you'd be looking to have
Yes,
at one time?
yes.
Could be less, but definitely not more.
Most likely less, but
Okay.
I'd like the permit for 5.
All right, well, we have a number of options here before us. We could issue a license, we could deny a license, we could postpone this hearing or continue it until after the ZBA.
But I think she said she's not going.
I'm not looking to go to ZBA.
Well, but they're still required to hold that hearing, is that correct?
No. So she can continue to operate that legally non-conforming use,
Okay.
provided that she doesn't expand. By building out that back area and creating a larger area to accommodate more automobiles would be an expansion. If the use stays as it is now, then there would be no need to visit the ZBA because she's not expanding it. If she stays within the scope of how it's been run for the last, I don't know how long it's been there, 50, 60, 70 years, then there's no reason to go to the ZBA.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So I have a question, Rod. So the back area that we're talking about, what is that, what's the condition now? Is that just gravel and grass?
Yeah, there's a septic system back there. I think there's a dumpster. Maybe was a dumpster. It's for the most part just vegetated area right to the property line of, there's a religious use there, a church that backs it up.
So on the map where, in the top there where it says edge of pavement, pavement, on the bottom all the way to the edge of pavement on the top, that's just grass, gravel?
It's all vegetation.
Yep,
Okay. So presently, that's not used for anything?
nothing.
Okay.
Mr. Belvin, would you like to speak to this? Come on up.
Thank you very much. My suggestion would be, come back with another plan to meet the 5 cars. That way they can see where the cars are going to be. It'll be in the file, all right? And then you guys can vote on it at that point. Simplest way of doing
I'm
it.
not sure how I could come back with something more specific than this, though.
Well, what you see here is what the total build-out could be.
You can just eliminate everything
No, I
from
understand that.
landscape island back.
If you could just address your,
Yeah.
I'm
both of
sorry.
your
So-
comments to the board.
The understanding is that you would have to come with a plan, and this is what the planning board does all the time, is that you come in with a plan, they're like, you gotta change this, change that, and then they come back with another change, and then they give a final plan, and they're like, okay, yep, we'll sign off on this. Okay, if you sign off on this plan that you have here, it's showing more cars, okay? So I think the best way of doing it is to go ahead and say, okay, eliminate those from the plan, show us where you're gonna have the cars, we'll have something in the file to say this is what we have for if they sell it, this is what we have in the future that we actually see, because I don't know if there's a plan with the prior one of where their cars would be, because I don't have access to that information, but that's just my opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Belvin. Okay. Thoughts from the board? Mr. Carter?
Going. Can you talk a little bit about how the cars would be coming in and out? I know there was concern about
They're gonna be
large
driven in and out.
trucks.
They're not
So-
coming on 18-wheelers or tow trucks even. These are all drivable cars that'll be driven down there.
Thank you.
No?
I think kind of what to go on what Mr. Belvin said, that if we could see just a plot of the 5, well, first we should find out how many the store officially needs, if it's, say, 4, and then the 5. So if we could see those 9 spots, because I know you said like the 6 on the left? Mm-hmm. And then on the right-hand side of the building, there's a couple, but just to have it marked out, so again, it's on record and everybody can see that, I think that would help. I know that would help me confirm that there is actual, without going to those spaces up top that you said
Yep.
you probably don't want to do anyway.
Yeah,
So
I'm not gonna.
just if we can see it kind of in writing type, I know I'd feel more comfortable approving it.
Okay.
If we could just see that 10 or even go for a little bit more, again, depending how many will fit in there legally.
Mr. Ryan?
Was 4 the number that is known to be needed, or was that just a guess saying it was about 4? Was
5
that,
is what they have right now.
I meant for the store. So there was a minimum that was required for operation of the...
Yeah, so that was
store.
just a guess. So if I might offer a suggestion, I'd be more than willing to gather the information and determine how big the building is and help the applicant come up with a number that's necessary for the retail use.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good.
And I could do that. We could do that this week. We'll figure out what you need for the use.
Okay.
And then we'll look at your plan and figure out what you have remaining. And then that number that you have remaining can be a number possibly that is part of the license. So that's something we can do without you having to pay for an engineer.
Perfect.
Okay.
Ms. Weston, what do we have on our January 6th agenda? Do we have any hearings scheduled right now? Do you folks think you could get that accomplished in time for our January 6th agenda? Or do you think you need a little more time?
I can do it. We can get together and come up with that information before then.
Does that work for you as well?
Absolutely.
All right, would the board consider a motion to continue this hearing until January 6th at 6:15?
6:15? Okay.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
We continued it.
Oh, we
so made a
continued it,
motion,
that's
so I
right.
think we're good.
Motion to continue the public hearing.
Yep. To
January
January
6th.
6th at 6:15.
Correct.
Right.
Make the motion
All right. Second?
Did we vote on it? or- No, sorry. All right. So-
to move the hearing.
I don't think we did.
Closing the hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. I don't remember if we did or not. Okay, next, we have a continued poll hearing from December 4th, 2025. Folks, if you could just... Okay, we have a continued poll hearing from December 4th, 2025 at 6:15 from N-Star Electric Company, DBA, Eversource Energy, and Verizon New England for permission to locate and relocate poles, wires, cables, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures to be owned and used in common by your petitioners along and across the following public way. Tremont Street, to install 2 joint-owned midspan poles, number 9302/246.5, joint-owned ES, and 9302/227.5, joint-owned ES in right-of-way, plan number 16095122, dated May 21st, 2025. Also, that permission be and hereby is granted to each of said companies to lay and maintain underground cables, conduits, wires, and vaults when necessary equipment in the above and intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each may desire for distributing purposes. Is there a motion to open the
So
hearing?
it's a continued hearing.
Continued
Do we
hearing.
need to?
I think we still have to open it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to open the continued
All right.
poll hearing.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome back.
Hi, Julie from Eversource.
Hi, Anthony, Community Relations from Eversource.
All right. Think, do we have the individual here that had an individual, would you like to come up and just?
No, I don't think that's necessary. I already talked to Julie about it.
Okay, well, if you could just come up and just speak into the microphone for the folks at home can hear you.
Okay.
And just,
Can I address this first, though?
Sure.
We are going to withdraw one of the poll hearings, the 9302 over 227.5,
Okay,
in front of his house. We measured it out, and with the new poles going in, it's determined that we will not need that pole
okay, so you're just looking for 9302/246.5?
on this hearing, yes.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, Julie, and Eversource and the board for listening to my concerns. And
Okay, so you're satisfied with this, that,
yes,
no issues?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Are there questions from the board?
Not on that one. I guess I understand there's just no poll going there, so we'll just have to make sure we approve the amended plan.
Yep.
That
I sent
shows
it
that
in
there was
already,
not
so
a-
yes,
oh.
the correct one, certainly.
All right, and just so I know, because some of the issues with these additional polls has been the span. There's no issues with this if we pull this one pole?
We measured it, and with the two poles that are already there. It was determined that this particular area does not need this mid-span pole that would be in front of his home.
All right. And just before we move on, I see we have our operations and maintenance co-director here with, John, what's your official title here?
Deputy Director.
Deputy Director, there you go. Do you have anything to add to this?
No, I don't have anything to add. No.
Good.
The resident's happy with it, then
All right.
the board should be happy.
All right. Any questions on the board? If not,
Well, so there is a second poll, so we have to address the second one that's being asked to be, that we postponed.
is that the 620, that's a 620 hearing?
No, I'm sorry. So there's two polls on this one. This agenda item has polls 246 and 227, so.
Right, but they're
227 's
withdrawing
being-
one.
227 is being withdrawn, but what was the open issue with 246 that we have to talk about? Why do we move that one to tonight?
The abutters.
Okay,
So we can, you can ask anybody here, but that one, we still need to hear that poll. We only withdrawn one of those two
Right.
polls on that hearing.
Right. And again, is there anyone here to speak to that particular poll? No? Okay.
so what was the reason we held that one? Did we, because we didn't notify the abutters.
We didn't notify the abutters.
So now we have adequately notified
Correct.
all the abutters
Thank
and
you,
there's
sir.
nobody here?
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess we're good to make a motion to approve only 9302/246.5 JO-ES on plan number 16095-122 with an amended date of 12/16/2025 on that plan. It'll show a revised.
Yes.
So that's the motion would be to approve the revised plan date with that notification and the remove poll.
Okay. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Is there a motion to
I'll
close
make a
this hearing?
motion to close the, this poll hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have a continued poll hearing from December 4th, 2025, 6:20 PM for N-Star Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, and Verizon New England for permission to locate and relocate poles, wires, cables, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures to be owned and used in common by your petitioners along and across the following public way or ways. South Main Street, to install one joint-owned midspan pole 20/23.5 in right-of-way plan number 16247-683, dated April 17th, 2025. Also, that permission be and hereby is granted to each of said companies to lay and maintain underground cables, conduits, wires, vaults, and necessary equipment in the above or intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each may desire for distributing purposes.
I'll make a motion, open the continued hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. For the board's information, I did get a call from Ms. Churchill today, who was the individual who had the issue. She's met with Eversource, and she's satisfied as to I think the moving the pole down a
I
little bit
was
down the
out there
street.
yesterday, we moved the pole, she was satisfied with where we moved it.
Yeah, so she let me know that she's happy with that. So,
Oh, great.
So that's it.
So
Is there anyone, any residents here to speak to this tonight? Seeing none?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the midspan pole 20/23.5 on plan number 1624783 with a revised date of 12/16/2025.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So this was the woman that had the problem with the...
Block on the sign.
sign.
The scriptures, yes.
Okay,
Moved.
perfect.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Is there a motion to close this public
I'll make a
hearing?
motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Woods, thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we have this one discussion coming up on double poles. Could you hang around?
For a couple minutes, I have a tree hearing in a couple minutes that
Okay.
I have to be.
You know what? Go ahead.
No, I'll wait.
Sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, well, our next agenda item is a discussion on procedure for double poles with Eversource, Verizon, and Cable. Cable did contact us and say they weren't able to make this meeting, did we ever hear from Verizon, Mr.?
Yes, we did hear from Verizon. They were unable to make the meeting tonight.
Okay,
also,
so I would suggest that we talk to them and come up with another date.
Correct. We'll come up with a date when all three, Eversource is very accommodating to us, but we'll get Verizon and Comcast to agree to dates, and then we'll talk to Anthony and make sure all three can be here.
All right, that work for the board?
Reschedule it.
Anyone have any questions that work for the board?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great night, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have 3 SIPs for renewal of a common victualler, liquor, and entertainment licenses. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Palmer, if I could ask you to come back up and join us for this agenda item as well? All right. Mr. Cannon, why don't you update us on where we are with this? I know there was we held this license at the last hearing. We wanted to discuss the fence.
Correct. In my opinion, it really is all the discussion about the outdoor fence. There was quite a discussion by the board at one point, believing that a stockade fence was going to be installed outside for the entertainment area. As shown, there's a depiction on the plan there in the upper right-hand corner. I know it's a small scale plan, it's hard to see. That fence was not installed. I refer to it as a snow fence, has been installed around the perimeter. So there is a fence there. It just isn't the fence that was depicted on the plan. And since then, we've had some back and forth with the owner about the need for the fence and then the type of fence. And the building inspector can speak to it also. It is just, again, not the fence that was depicted on the plan, or I would say alluded to be installed.
Okay. Why don't we hear from the applicant, and then we'll go to the building inspector.
Sure. I just want to thank you for, working with us on this matter. We're still fresh and, funds are still very low. I understand you did, you did ask for a stockade fence originally. I was a little confused as to what technically was a stockade fence and what made it. I did learn that what you did approve on that plan is not a stockade fence. So we kind of went with, best in our budget to come up with something similar. I understand it is a snow fence, but, we did make it as tight and safe as we possibly could. I mean, we had no problems with it. We've gone through the whole summer, the fall with many children out there. I'm just kind of, the position we're in right now, I'm looking for a possible, reconsideration.
All right. Mr. Palmer, do you have anything to add here?
Well, for my involvement, it was really just to confirm that a stockade fence was in place, a 4-foot stockade fence was in place. I was not involved in the permitting process. My involvement, again, was just within your conditions. It was mentioned that the building official will confirm that a stockade fence was in place, and that's not what we have. We have a snow fence. So my thoughts of a stockade fence were a 4-foot-high stockade fence. It's not site impervious, it's above 4 feet. And Dan and I have had many conversations over the past several months about the fencing. And I understand that money was an issue, but we both agreed and understood that a stockade fence would be in place. Our last conversation we had a few weeks ago, Dan wanted to come before the board and respectfully request that the condition be removed. So that's why we are here tonight. So my involvement is, if the condition stands, then I'll be the one to enforce that a stockade fence be put in place. Okay. If the condition is removed, then I'm out of the picture.
So just so the board understands exactly what you want, are you asking for there be no fence? Are you asking for that we leave the current fence? What exactly?
But safety is our #1 priority. I have little children. I have 3 children under 5 years old. I've had family history where accidents have happened, so you need to believe that that fence will be safe for children. We need something, 100%. I'm just asking if, you can reconsider with what we have currently.
So you're asking to leave the current fence in
Yes.
place? Okay. All right, I'll open up to the board. Mr. Ryan?
Do you have plans to ever replace it, or do you think you'll just leave that permanently moving forward?
I mean, we could down the line. I mean, I will say one thing. I think a stockade fence will kind of, learning what a stockade fence finally, you know, what it was something you could not visibly see through, correct? A stockade fence? That's not a stockade fence.
Yeah.
That's more of a picketed fence. You did approve that. So, I mean, down the line, of course, we would like to, you know, upgrade and make something more than, I understand, a snow fence.
Okay, and it just seems that it's a kind of a temporary fence, and that's why I was asking, is it sturdy enough? Is there a possibility, like with snow, it might break or fall down? I don't know the condition of it. But...
I strongly believe that it would not.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Carter?
I just got a question on, when this plan was designed, you said, I'm going back by memory. I remember you coming forward with the plan. But that fence was something that the condition that the town put, was there anything there beforehand?
A version of the fence that we have now, but was beat up. So we replaced everything with a new, sturdier version of a snow fence.
But when you first presented the plans to us, was that a requirement by an official of the town to have a stockade fence on your original plan, or was that just something that was submitted for approval?
The board wanted us to come up with something 4 feet because they wanted it safe enough for children.
That was us, right? That's up on our
Yes.
first conversations, okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, is that true? I thought that depiction was on the plan when we received it.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't believe this board ever indicated that they had to put that.
I think we met twice, and I think the first time we met, we asked for the plan to be updated because it was something, it was like maybe drawn in, and we wanted to see an official plan.
The second time
And
I
then
came back
you
with
came back
this
with
plan.
that
Now they said
proposal.
yes.
So the second time, we said put a fence in.
Yeah, I believe
and then-
the motion was that the applicant put in a fence approved by the building inspector. I believe that was the original motion
Okay.
back when we first held this hearing. And, you know, where it's gone since then, it's obvious. I do have concerns. That's a very busy road, it's a very busy intersection. Whether it's a stockade fence or some other mutually agreed upon fence, I do have concerns that, you know, a child could wander close to the road or something like that if there's nothing there. And I don't see, personally, I don't see a snow fence, and that's what I would call that, a snow fence. That may not be the appropriate term. I don't see that as a permanent fence to stop a child. And that's my concern with this particular property, is that a child could wander close to the road and have that happen, so.
Sorry. Do we have any, I mean, we have to be fair to all the business owners, right? So if someone has a restaurant and they've got an outside component to it, do we require everybody to have a fence/barrier around their place of business? Because I know that the center of town, there was outside seating. I think there's the Mexican restaurant, and then there's over by Aubuchon inside the marketplace, there's an area they have out back that there's no fencing around it at all whatsoever. It's just a parking lot that is somewhat dangerous. So what is the town's, I don't want to call it a bylaw, but policy on outside venues when you have a restaurant?
So I don't think there really is a policy. The outdoor restaurants and seating that we saw were typically due to COVID. Prior to that, there was never a need for people to be outside. So during that time of COVID, restaurant owners came up with an idea to have people sit outside. And they were looked at on a case-by-case basis. Most of the outdoor seating, the number one concern would be motor vehicles. In some cases, bollards were put up, Jersey barriers were put up. I don't know that I've ever seen any type of fencing used, because the concern really wasn't people going in and out. It was more of a concern automobiles going into the area where people would be sitting. But right now, as I think of other establishments that might have similar situations where there's outdoor seating or entertainment, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Not to say there isn't, I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
And I agree, I can't think of any that are right on the road like that. I mean, the one you referenced up at, yeah, I mean, that's in back, there's a big parking lot, there's a lot between that location and the road.
But there's a parking lot that cars are going.
But they're not coming by at 40 miles an hour.
True.
And that's, like I said, that's my concern. I'm not trying to put undue stress here on the business, but I just have a concern that a child could wander close to that road. That's always been my concern there.
Well, that is why we installed what we installed, to keep children safe. And there have been many, many children throughout the course of us being open. And there hasn't been an issue. I mean, I know things can happen, but, I mean, and with all, I think a child would be more likely to climb over that. You have the cross brackets, or whatever the technical name is. I mean, what we have there, I mean, a 6-foot man would find it very difficult to climb over the fence, but.
Yeah, I just don't see what you have there as a permanent fence. That's I wouldn't call that a permanent fence. I would call that a temporary fence.
Okay.
And that's the issue I'd have with that fence. But it's the pleasure of the board here.
How high is that fence now, the snow fence?
4 feet.
It's 4 feet high.
Well, let's think about what we did last time. I'm not sure which way the board would go with regards to replacing the fence or not. And some comment was made about down the road doing it. What about another extension? We extended you from your last date to now. If hopefully your business continues to grow, would you be open to revisiting this at a later date?
Yes. It's just like currently now, I mean, it is, we've gotten a number of prices over the last couple months, and it's simply, it would kill us. You know, we're still, progressing, we're still trying to get out of the red. If we could push, I mean, what are you willing to give us?
Well, you don't have anyone sitting outside, I would assume now.
Not now,
No,
but
no,
they
no.
were.
Yeah. Is the outside seating area closed now? I mean, could someone sit out there if they wanted to, or is it closed?
I mean, the door is left open, people go out there to have a cigarette, and, I mean, no one's sitting out there.
You don't have
in the
service
past
going out
couple
there?
weeks. No.
Yeah.
No, we've shut service off to the outside, so.
Mr. Palmer, is there a compromise type of fence that you can think of that might be a little more workable for the applicant that might?
Well, I mean, a snow fence is designed to prevent snow from drifting. That's what it's designed for. I think a stockade fence, it's more of a permanent, tangible boundary. My personal opinion is I think a more permanent solution, if you're asking me, would be a stockade fence, as opposed to something that's designed for snow. That's my opinion.
Can I request, I just think, having it completely closed off and not being able to see inside of the beer garden, I mean, we plan on making it a lot nicer. I think it would kind of ruin the appeal of it, not being able to see in and see what's going on. I mean, I think that has been like a drive for customers to be able to see, oh, look at this beer garden, they're having a good time, if there's any way we could agree, we could meet in the middle.
I mean, there's a lot of fences out there today. Some of them are aesthetically pleasing. Maybe there's something out there that you could explore that would be more suitable for folks to drive by and look in, but also serve the purpose of keeping people in or out. you know, so.
Mr. Chairman, good. So on the plan, again, it is labeled a 48-inch stockade fence, but depicted is what I would call a picket fence, right? So there are slats missing there. I don't believe a child could squeeze between those slats. I don't know if the applicant would be amenable to a picket fence.
That was exactly my thought as well. You can see through the
Right, you
picket fence, but I think it would be hard for someone to climb over it. And,
I mean, Rod, do you know the distance between those is it 4 inches or 6 inches? It can't be.
I think it varies. Nobody's going to squeeze through it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it has those two horizontal members, but by the time a child went to that fence and began to crawl over it, I'm sure somebody would recognize it and see.
It has substantial post, so that, you know, there's some, some strength to that post, if you will. You know.
I don't know the difference in cost between the two. I'm not sure.
Nor do I, but there are different styles, and there may be something that you could find that might be cost-effective for you.
Okay.
So is the board worth considering an extension of the license until, I'm assuming you're not going to do much in the wintertime out there between now and March?
Yeah.
To have a plan April 1?
Yeah, well, that was my thought. What if we, I'm sorry, my calendar doesn't seem to want to work here. There we go. What if we extended the license? In fact, we have a meeting. No, we don't. We have a meeting April 7th. So what if we extended the license?
Yeah, it is town meeting night.
That's right. What if we extended the license to March 17th? And you agreed to keep the outside seating area closed until March 17th, so we wouldn't have to worry about families out there having dinner or something. And would that be a compromise?
Okay, my fear, do you think the ground will be frozen enough?
I don't think you could put any fencing up until April.
Yeah, typically the ground doesn't freeze much in Carver because it's so sandy. I wouldn't be too concerned about frozen ground.
April would, if you could find a way for April?
Well, my concern is that you're going to want to use that outside area. That's why I'm trying not to be too restrictive till we use that outside area. We do have a meeting April 21st.
Okay.
I'd be okay going till April 21st, you know.
Okay.
But does that mean that
I think they could still use it. I wouldn't hold them from, if the weather permitted. Usually it's still bad in April, but.
I would have issues with children sitting out there. That's always been my concern.
Yeah.
That's my only concern is a child wandering too close to that road.
Getting over.
And so, you know, I'm fine extending, we're trying to work with you, and I certainly am trying to work with you. My concern is a child wandering too close to that road.
As it is mine, and that's why we've installed something safe, but
No.
I understand.
No?
March 17th, is that?
I think we're saying April.
I'm sorry, April?
Well, our meeting April 7th is town meeting, so we don't have
So
a
2
meeting
weeks
then.
after
So we
that.
have,
21st?
we have March 17th, that's our second meeting in March. Or we have the second meeting in April, which is April 21st. So I would say one of those two.
I would say it's just 21st.
21st? That work?
Yes.
All right. So we'll grant a license. We'll grant the common victual license and entertainment license just for the period till April 21st?
April
And
21st.
liquor license, right?
And
Is that okay?
everything's together, but what is the condition? Like, what is supposed to be in place by April 21st?
Well, have a plan for a more permanent, but maybe less expensive or, compromise fence.
Yeah, I mean, so, again, my concern here is that we're going to have a child wandering too close to that road.
Yeah.
So unless there's a condition that outside seating area is closed until we approve a new fence, I don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
And that's why I'm trying to work with the applicant, because I don't want to see that area have to be closed too long on him.
But didn't we approve the last license? Until he came up with a
We did,
fence?
we approved, the last license was a fence to be approved by the building inspector. Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to be fair as well, so So what was there was nothing, he came up with something.
Well, what was there at the time, I think, is what's still there, which is the snow
Snow
fence.
fence.
I just see that as a temporary fence, that's all. I don't see that as a permanent fence. I see that as a temporary fence.
I do want to ask a question on that. It's not just a snow fence. I picture snow fences as being more flimsy. I think you've done something to shore it up and make it a little bit stronger.
Oh, we've
So it isn't, I guess it may not be fair to just call
every
it.
6 feet, the metal posts are over 2 feet in the ground.
Is there really, so it's attached to metal posts?
Yes.
Yes, oh yes.
So I wanted to make sure you
Every
knew
6
that,
feet.
that you
And
may
then
want
we've tightened it, we made sure it was all tight, metal twines connected to each.
Yeah.
It does have give, I will say that, obviously, but
But it is attached to metal stakes. It's not just a snow fence. I just want to make sure you're clear that it appears to be stronger than a snow fence.
Well, I would suggest that we ask the applicant to come back on March 17th. And at that time, he can make a proposal to us. That way, hopefully, we can have that fence installed by that April 21st date. That gives him a month in between that to make a proposal and get whatever it is installed.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll be coming back on April 21st, and he'll be going even the
Further
farther.
into the season.
Yeah. So if that's amenable to you, that's what I would suggest.
Yep.
Mr. Palmer, you see any issues there?
No, and I would agree with Dan that there are steel stanchions embedded into the earth every 6 or 8 feet to stabilize it. So
Okay.
it's not just willy-nilly.
Okay.
I think it does have some integrity.
Stability.
It's just not a permanent type design.
Okay.
So do you want the motion to say subject to no use of the outdoor area? Grant the license, but, with no outdoor through March 17th?
I would
Subject
feel
to
more
the
comfortable with that, but I'll go along with the will of the board on this.
I'm okay with that. I don't think we need it. I mean, I think it's going to be a winter season. You're not going to have much activity out there.
So you just want to grant the license?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion then to just grant a license for the common victular and entertainment until March 17th.
And liquor.
And liquor.
And liquor,
Second.
But there's nothing.
with no other restrictions.
Does it say they're gonna come back with a proposal?
Yeah, I think he's going to come back with a...
Mhm. Well, at least the license is only valid till March 17th, so.
So
we
it's
can come back
temporary
to that.
license.
Yeah. So there's a motion and a second.
So
Okay.
we can do that?
Yeah, there's no issues with that, granting a temporary
temporary.
license and that. Is there, Mr.?
No, that's what we did before.
Yeah. Okay, we have a
So
motion?
so what we did before was a temporary license that expired at the end of the
Correct.
calendar year?
Correct, December 31st, which,
Okay. Okay.
But it wasn't clear on what was happening. I don't think it was clear to the applicant on what needed to happen next. So if you
No, I don't-
say it in the motion, it might make it clear.
No, I don't think so either. I think the motion probably needs to include that the applicant will appear on March 17th with a more permanent fencing solution. Is there wording that you would suggest, Mr. Palmer, to this motion?
No, I think that's fine. I would say that's fine.
Okay.
I can add that, and do you just want to, and we talked about this before, just make sure it's approved by Mr.
Well, I
Palmer?
think he
or-
would come back and we'd discuss it. He would
Okay.
have a proposal on a fence, and
All right.
we'd probably ask Mr. Palmer to attend, or at least
So-
meet with the applicant. If he was unable to attend, meet with the applicant in advance and make a recommendation to the board.
All right, so motion is that to grant the licenses, the 3 licenses through March 17th, with the understanding that, on March 17th, we'll be presented with an updated fencing plan.
Second.
Any further discussion on this? And you're okay with this, sir?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It is unanimous, thank you. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rod.
Thanks very much, Rod, as
Yeah,
always.
You're welcome anytime.
All right, next is update on need for warrant. No,
discussion.
I'm sorry, I skipped one. Discussion and possible vote on the poll hearing abutter notification process. Mr. Carter, I think this is something you
Sure.
asked for.
Well, I think that last, I don't know if we have it in here. The last we talked, we had a standard operating procedure saying, this is the date that we are required to notify the abutters so they have all the information. I'm going by memory, I thought it was 7 days before a poll hearing. And then I thought there was another date where everything had to be staked, maybe 10 days before, but we wanted to lay out the criteria working back from the poll hearing date to whenever we have to instigate the first notification to abutters. And I know we also, I mean, I was hoping we had that old form, that we had a form filled out, right, that said everything's supposed to happen on these stages?
Yeah, it's in your packet.
Oh.
Page,
48.
thank you.
Full hearing process.
So the only thing I think I was suggesting that we add to this is the notification by green card. So we have some kind of confirmation from the resident stating that they received the information, because that seemed to be a problem with all these poll hearings.
Okay, so notification by certified mail.
Certified mail, green card, yeah.
So I guess the next question is, what would happen if all the green cards don't come back?
We could make an additional attempt to notify the taxpayer that there's a poll hearing.
Well,
Either another mailing, maybe some DPW could contact the taxpayer, just let them know.
So I think there would have to be a date on that. So if you want this sent out by certified mail, at what point, what point would the green card have to come back before we would make a additional notification?
The green card, if we sent, whatever the date is it 10 days before? Eversource plays white stakes, so prior to the 10 days before, right? Call it 3 weeks before. Green cards would have to go out and notify the abutters with the response. If they don't respond within 7 days, we take additional steps to contact them. So that we know before that 10 days prior to the hearing, that they can go out and look at the stakes in their ground to say that's where the poll's going.
Mr. Ryan.
I think the intent is to make sure that we do our best diligence to notify all the abutters, but even with a certified mail, I don't know that we can guarantee with the expense to do that we've actually completed that. And I've heard too that some cases when people get it, they don't even go because they received this and they may not want to go find out what it's all about. I guess I would suggest, maybe it makes sense to notify abutters, but ask them to confirm, that they've, the normal way we do it today, just and say, confirm that you've, somehow to the town hall that they've got the notification, and if not, then maybe, we'll have a list, and I don't know if there's a way I'm just trying to think of an easier process of notifying people and checking off that, we know that they received it or didn't.
Well, I think we heard from an abutter at the last poll hearing that they had a P.O. box, but they hadn't made it to the P.O. box.
Right.
And so they were lucky to get, I think they went to the P.O. box the Friday or the Saturday before the hearing.
Right.
And I think that's going to be the issue with a lot of certified mail.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Cannon, Ms. Weston. Normally, we've had some unusual poll hearings. We've had an awful lot of people on this notification process. Usually, that's not the case. But if we were to send letters out, do we have a way of just calling these people? Having somebody call these people a few days ahead? Or is there some other way that we could notify people?
We don't have contact information other than their mailing address.
Right. So there's,
And not all
aside from mailing something out, there's really no way to notify these people.
And you said notify all the taxpayers. Not all taxpayers live in Carver?
Right.
No.
Well, I mean, I have concerns with the certified process just because I think it's gonna.
Well, let's not make it more difficult than it needs to be. We know there's no perfect way, right? You're gonna call people up on telephones, you're gonna drive by the house, knock on their door. We're just saying, here's a mailing list. send a certified green card requested, return receipt requested. You get them back, you check them off against the mailing list. You have this person respond, this person didn't respond. Somebody from DPW could go over and knock on the person's door and say, here's your information for a poll hearing. I mean, just another attempt would be, a better attempt would be made than what's going on now, because essentially nobody shows up at our poll hearings. So I think we have to do better. Secondly, I don't think we see in here, and I'm glad the assessor's here, because I'm not sure if I understand the difference between a certified, I think the documentation we had on our prior meeting that 27 people weren't notified, it said something like, this list is certified to agree to the assessor's database. But 30 people weren't notified. So then I heard the terminology, certified assessor's list. So what is the difference between a certified assessor's list and a list that's certified to agree to the assessor's database?
Mr. Cannon, would you like to address that, or would you like to invite our
Let's
assessor
invite
up?
our assessor up for this one, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much for coming to our meeting this evening.
You're welcome. I figured there might be a question. Do you want me to introduce myself first?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay. So my name's Olivia Verhagen. I'm the Director of Assessing. So a butters list that's certified by the assessor's database is something that any resident, anyone who can use a computer, can go on our assessor's database and pull in a butters list. A certified butters list is made by our assessor's office and has a signature from somebody in my office. Moving forward, we have a new procedure where it will be my signature, but in the past it has been anyone in the assessor's office.
Yes, I'm so confused. Yeah, I heard the difference is it would be your signature versus anybody else's, but what is the terminology that says? The way we did it missed 30 people. The way we're gonna do it with a certified assessors list gets the 30 people. How do I, that's what I'm looking for.
Because anyone can pull in a butters list. You can go, if you go on our mapping service, there's a way you can just click in a butters
And
list.
that could be wrong information.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, so for an example, if you pull up a condo association, the mapping parcel is the condo association. It's not every individual condo owner. That's why people were missing. Because in order to get every individual condo owner, you would have to know that's a condo parcel. You would have to work in the assessor's office.
So now you're saying since you're signing off on it as a certified assessors list, you would find the owner of the condo association, or you would find the people that got missed last time?
We notified the condo owners, not the condo association.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
And that was the problem last time.
That was the issue.
We had the other thing where it was just the property owner and not the condominium owners. And that's why we missed the 28 condominiums.
I would just point out that right now in the list we worked on to notify item number 5, it does not say certified abutters list. It says town to prepare a butters notice with the following information. It doesn't say certified.
So it's changed.
So we would change that.
Yeah. And the other thing is that we did last time is that we had everything on the town's website under some page that listed all the maps. But then we took it down, it's a perfect storm. We took it down and then didn't send the notifications to 30 people, and there was no way for them to see them on the town's website. So I think it should be a mandatory added to this list that whenever we have a poll hearing, we have a tab on our town's website that says, here are the maps. So if somebody that's old school wants a piece of paper in their hand, somebody else will look it up online and find the map. So either way, standard operating procedure, it goes on the town's website.
Yeah. I don't see an issue with that. Any reason we can't accomplish that?
I don't see, so if you see 5B, right, we can just change the language, right? A map will be enclosed with a notice and the town. I think that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So the only thing I think we've got hanging out there is the green card notifications. And again, I would reiterate that we asked the planning board to do it or the building department to do it. That's how people get notified when things are going in around the area. Why aren't we held to the same standard?
Ms. Weston, how long ahead of a poll hearing do we mail out the notices?
So depending on when we receive notice from Eversource and when we can get it on the agenda, so we do know that the newspaper has like a 2-day lag time to post the ad, and that we have to prepare the notices and mail them out. So this last round of hearings, it was 14 days because we had a little bit of time. This continuation was less time. turnaround time. So it just depends on when we receive it, but the law is that we have to mail them out 7 days in advance.
So can I ask a question with, there's no clock usually ticking on these things, right? Meaning if Eversource comes before us and says, here's our map, would like to have a poll hearing. With the first thing, you have to notify the abutters, then you go over to the assessors to get the certified assessors list. How much time would you need to put together a certified assessors list? I mean, does it depend on the number of people or whatnot? Is it days, a week?
By law, we have a minimum of 10 days, but it doesn't usually take us that long.
Okay, I'm just saying, if you work back from, what does it take for us to get a good list certified by the assessor, notified in the paper? All that can be put into a schedule, and then we tell Eversource, you'll be at our meeting a month from now, 2 months from now, because there's no clock ticking on them going out to set up a poll hearing. They just wait for a meeting from us. So we can make sure it's in our guidelines, and if it's more than the 7, more than the 10, so be it. But at least everybody gets notified.
So basically, when they give us a notice, the clock starts. We get the list from the assessor's office, if we decide the green card, and then we can push it back a week.
As far as we want.
Yeah, I mean, the concern, I think, is if we're going to use certified mail, and we obviously have, I think it's almost guaranteed we're not gonna get all the green cards back.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have time to notify those people in a follow-up way, whether it's a regular piece of mail or whatever. So we just have to have enough time built into that timeline.
It's almost like giving an extra week for this extra step.
Yeah.
So you're gonna send out green cards, you're gonna wait, I have no idea what the end date is for a green card.
Well, I
We give them
can
2
tell you,
weeks.
so I use certified mail quite extensively in the insurance business, okay? And I can tell you, I don't think there is a guideline. I used to send some certified mail out, and 4 or 5 days later, I'd have the green cards back. Some of them I never got back, and some of them I might get back a month later. I mean, it varies. You just don't know. And which is one of the reasons we don't use it
Well,
anymore.
why don't we try our next poll hearing and see what happens?
So we send out a green card, give them a week. If we don't get the green card back, we're sending them a regular mail,
A follow-up letter.
a follow-up,
Yeah.
and that.
That would be the same notice, just not certified.
Another week for that.
So for a first poll hearing, Elena, I know you just said this, what would the lead time be as far as sending out a notice to an abutter?
Well, it would have to be a minimum of 7 days.
Okay, so we'd send something out 7 days, a minimum.
Mhm.
So that now we'd say 14 days.
But again, it's not gonna be perfect, meaning.
Right.
We're gonna send this out, and if there's 20 butters, they get 20 letters, and only 15 go and get their green card and they sign return, fine. Well, if we do that secondary letter and say, here's regular mail, here's a letter, at least no one can come to us and say, I was never notified. You could turn around and say, well, Mr. Smith, you were sent a certified letter on such and such a day. It's like we have proof that we made the attempt to get them the information they needed, so no one can ever come to us and say, you never sent me anything, or I never got anything. It went, you didn't pick it up.
Is there anything in the statute as far as these poll hearings that says how much notice we have to, how far ahead we have to tell Eversource we want to know about this poll hearing? There's nothing that says it has to be done in 7 days or 10 days?
I'm not sure how long it would extend out. We'd have to check Mass General Law, Chapter 166, but I'm not sure of they don't have a timeline to notify us in advance, but I'm not sure of the timeline for you to vote on it.
Well, I think as long as we can get enough lead time to reasonably expect someone to pick up the piece of certified mail and have the mail get the green card back, I don't see a harm in trying Mr. Carter's
Try it out.
way and let's try it for a couple of poll hearings and see how it works.
And we should let Eversource know, because it's gonna add an extra 7 or 10 days. They should be more proactive and have that in their plan. If they expect to be on our next town meeting, we just extended this process an extra 7 or 10, whatever we decide on, so they'll know as well.
That's right. And as far as the time it takes staff to prepare these things, is there any reason we couldn't have asked Eversource to just prepare it and
Yes,
send it to us? It is?
it's in the law.
Okay.
They don't have to pay for the mailing.
I'm not
the
asking that,
notification.
not about paying for it. I understand we would have to pay
Preparing
for
it.
it. I'm just trying to save staff time.
Yeah.
Can they prepare the green cards?
Have them prepare the
and
green cards.
Everything ready to, so all they do is they get it to us and we mail it.
Actually, I like that idea, Mark.
Yeah.
'Cause
I can't make
that's-
them do that, though.
You can ask, right?
Well, if we tell them we want, I think we should pursue that. Why not?
Yeah. They only have to submit a green card with their application.
Yeah, they can have the whole, because it does take some time
Yeah.
to write all that out and, you know, I don't see why we couldn't ask them, once they get the certified abutters list, to prepare it.
Prepare green cards.
Yeah. Again, there's no harm in trying. Okay?
Nope. Yeah.
Maybe we might find out the time just doesn't work and it's just not working out, but what's the harm in trying it?
Okay.
Because it certainly would, you know, if we get that green card back, we certainly know that somebody was notified, so.
It'll be interesting, because typically, hardly any people come to our poll hearings. It'd be interesting, the first time we use green cards, if we get a big number of people coming to them.
So can you review exactly what you want to happen?
We'll put it down, we gotta talk about dates. We gotta talk about the certified list, the time it takes to put the certified list. We'll put together a complete agenda. How about for our next meeting? We'll just go through a time frame that says, here we go by day.
Well,
What needs to get done.
Yeah, how about we give it our best shot to get it on the next agenda?
So when you say by day, I mean, you want to know
So
that,
3 weeks before a poll hearing, we're gonna start the process with green cards.
okay.
Should be enough time to cover it.
Yep, I would say that gives you 2 weeks to hopefully get the green card back, and if you don't get it back 7 days before, you mail out just a notice in regular mail.
Okay.
See how it works out.
All right.
But if we get edit the list even not for the next meeting, but make sure we have the verbiage that the maps go on the website and, you know, that the study
Why don't you work on language,
Okay.
updating the poll hearing process
Yeah.
that we have here, and we can approve it at our next.
Sure.
That should be easy to do.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Is the request for the abutters list going to come from Eversource, or is Eversource going to put in a request for a poll hearing, and then we'll get the request from the abutters list from the Board of Selectmen?
How do we do it now, Mr. Chairman?
No, the request comes from Eversource.
Eversource, right?
Okay. We've
Yeah.
done it both ways just because there's been so many poll hearings and there's been changings of abutters list. I just want to make
I think we
Sure,
made
we do.
special considerations for
But-
these recent ones because there were so
Yes.
many and so much confusion going on.
Yeah.
But right now, when they come to you and they ask for an abutters list, do they get a certified abutters list, or they just get a list?
So right now, they come with a list and ask us to certify it, and we say, no, we're gonna make a certified abutters list for you,
Okay.
and then give it back. We have an application that everyone has to fill out to get a certified abutters list.
Okay.
And I'm working with Heidi and Peter to edit that right now, so that we'll have a special category that just says poll hearings, and the fee will be more.
Is there a
described
cost
as
to
well.
that?
It's $25 per abutters list if there's 25 abutters.
Okay.
Any abutter over that is $1 per abutter.
And Eversource pays that, correct?
Yes.
And that was on to part of the problem last time, is Eversource came to us with an abutters list and asked to be certified. Olivia was not in the
Yeah.
office at the day it happened. So again, we definitely want to go back to a certified abutters list, certified by the assessor.
I think so, and we just,
Yeah.
like I said, we need a set list of guidelines that we can give Eversource, that everybody knows what they are, so there's no ambiguity here. I think that's the most important thing, that whatever it is, everybody's on the same page. Any further thoughts on this from anybody before we move on? Olivia, do you have anything?
Nope.
Good? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Cannon, I think this is something you wanted to update the board on. An update on need for a warrant article for a change in the town health insurance group and to pay Gateway for any arrears, including tailing.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a topic we have discussed before. Our insurance group has informed us that they believe that we're running a deficit right now Could be approximately $3 million by the end of the year, the end of the fiscal year, that's June 30th. I propose coming in front of this board, we have a warrant article for the special town meeting. I did talk to the finance committee, the finance director, about where that funding may come from, whether it come from a stabilization fund or free cash, or what she had mentioned was, if you take it from a stabilization fund, you'd be putting money back in from our pilot program, the Cranberry Point. There really isn't, she says, there really isn't too much sense in taking the money out of stabilization fund, then just putting the money back in.
Right.
You should just request it from the pilot money. So that's one source, and then free cash would be the other source. And again, I know this is a big ask. This is real trouble here in our health group, being in this deficit. We're having employees who are the healthcare, their healthcare bills are not being paid right now because of the deficit that we're running, and we really need to catch up on this. So I do want to make the board aware of this. I know there are some members of the Insurance Advisory Committee here today. This is a very concerning matter for all of us.
And clearly we need to find a solution. We're going to have to work on the exact wording of an article. We don't have an article yet. You're just letting us know that there's going to be an article, so we can pay whatever.
Correct. I just want to be upfront. I want to be transparent with the board. I certainly don't want to spring something like this on you. $1.5 million is something you can't spring on people.
No, and I think this is probably something you need to keep on your town administrator update list as we go forward, even if there is no update, just so we're all in the loop on where this stands, because clearly we have to resolve it.
Correct.
And okay. Other questions from the board on this?
No, just wait for the article.
Pretty straightforward. Mr.
Well, I
Carver?
guess, maybe you can't answer tonight, but I'm looking to find out how we got into this situation. I'm looking for audits that were done from the Gateway Group and whatever the, anticipated, increases that should have been versus what was allowed. There's a lot of questions with regards to how we got, when did we find that out?
Correct. So tomorrow we have a Gateway Group meeting. I will be asking for an audit to be done of the Gateway Health Group claims.
I'm sorry, it's not required to have an audit every year when I...
It is required. I'm asking for an additional audit. Yeah, just for this one.
But you've seen the other ones, the other audits you've received copies of?
I have not received copies of them. No.
Can we check to make sure those audits were actually done?
Yes, I will check with the group. And then we could have the consultant come in here and explain to the board. I know I've given you a synopsis of what they've told me, but we could have the consultant come in here and explain to the board as to why this is happening.
But there's two parts of this, and I guess there's the one part of, how did we get here, right? But there's the other part is, how do we solve it? And no matter how we got here, we have an issue we have to solve for our employees, right? And we have to figure out what the best path forward is. And
correct.
We can't get distracted from finding a solution to the problem, which is what's the best path forward for our employees. But we do need to find out how we got in this hole.
Correct. They've told me, and I haven't dug too much into it. I've been trying to find a solution how to get out of this. They really talked to me about just the additional claims coming in is what they've really been talking about. Not the large claims which have been alluded to before, but these are just everyday claims coming in. They really talk about increased usage. So, but again, I can ask the consultant to come into one of our meetings and give an update to the board.
Okay. Mr. Hoffman.
I know we have some people in the audience. Any comments or anything to help?
Right here?
Sure. No, I think any support to get out of this, like I said, I think we're in a difficult situation that no one wants to be into, and I think, I said, I know they have the meeting tomorrow, and then we're meeting as an insurance advisory group on Thursday to kind of follow up what happened from the meeting, as, obviously, whatever the Gateway Board votes. I know Glenn's just one of the 3 votes there. So, we're actively on. If there was something magical, we could come up with, or ideas, it's a terrible, I think I might have said last time, it's a perfect storm type thing we find ourselves in. Obviously, health insurance, people need it, people use it. So we on our end, through Tom Pinto from the Education Association, Plymouth Carver, I've been exploring every avenue along with Glenn and every other part of the group. We've reached out to our legal team, our input. Again, we're all kind of working through this whole working process. And again, I don't think if there was an instant thing to fix this, I think we would have all kind of gone down that path and chose it. But
all right,
unfortunately, we're not.
All right.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, Mr. Cannon, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, next, we have an item to adjust the terms for members of the Earth Removal Committee. And Ms. Weston, you just want to tell us briefly how this came about?
Sure, it was brought to our attention that everyone on the Earth Removal Committee's term expired the same year, which is June 30th, 2026, and asked if we could look into that and how that happened. And what happened is when someone resigns, you want to appoint the next person to fill the end of that term, and that wasn't happening. People were just getting reappointed for 3-year terms. And with the turnover on the committee, it just so happened everyone is now expiring June 30th. I did research back the appointments and who filled whose spot and what those original terms should be. And I think you have in front of you that Michael Harrison has, from his original appointment in 1998, been appointed the 3-year term every single time, so he's fine. Dick Ward was appointed in 2007, although he just resigned. Looking back through his appointments, his term should have expired in 2028. So the person who gets appointed next to fill that open spot, their term will end in 2028. And then we have member Judy Richards, who filled the spot of Robert Ironimo. His appointment ended in 2018. So Judy was appointed in 2024. So if you go forward, she should expire in 2027.
Right.
So we just need to make the adjustment to Judy's appointment. So if you would like to vote to adjust.
So she's the only member that we need to adjust?
For the select board appointment, yes.
Okay. All right, well, that makes sense. Are there any questions on the board? And if not, is there a motion?
And what's the recommendation for the,
To adjust Judy Richards' appointment from term expiring 2026 to June 30th, 2027.
oh, okay. All right, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this?
Quick question, though. But now, the other people, you said all of them expiring?
Yeah, so the others are town administrator appointments.
Right, they're not us.
So you're gonna structure it
Reappoint.
differently, so they're all staggered? Got it.
And we'll use the same method of, we've already
makes
researched going back. For example, Roger Shores replaced the appointment of John Garrettson. His term ended in 2023, so his term is correct, ending in 2026. There is a CCCGA appointment in which someone resigned that's now open. The next person to fill that term will expire in 2028.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Next, motion to set the deadline for annual town meeting articles, including petition articles, and set date and time for annual town meeting. Mr. Cannon, I think we discussed this as a board a little while ago. You've got a schedule here before us. This has been changed a little bit.
Correct,
So-
correct. We have adjusted a little bit to give staff and people a little bit more time to get their articles in. Originally, we proposed a December 31st deadline. But this would be officially opening the warrant, and then officially closing the warrant.
Okay. So I think the key is that when we get these articles, that they're complete and accurate articles.
Correct, correct, and that's, yes.
And we're gonna get them, and then as the board has laid out here, the staff will get them. We'll have town council review them. We're gonna have a set of folks here in town hall who are just gonna proofread them just for typos, things like that. So by the time it gets to us, they should be ready to be voted on and not have to be referred back to council or whatever.
Correct.
And we'll get a full list, and we won't be doing partial votes. We'll get a full.
Yes, we'll have a full list.
So are there questions for Mr. Ryan?
Sure, if, this is great, but if somebody deems they've got an emergency article or there's an issue, then do we have a way of handling that? Do we just say no and go away till next year? Or if there's an emergency that, or somebody says, well, we really should vote this, how do you want to handle an unforeseen
If there truly were,
situation?
I believe the board would have to reopen the warrant and then
Okay.
accept that article and then close it.
Okay.
I mean, in the past, if it's been a true emergency, then we've reopened the warrant. But if someone is just, hey, I just thought of this, or how about we do this, then it's been no.
Okay, so there'll be a way for somebody to petition or say, hey, I've got something that, needs to get into this town meeting and I want to make a case for it, and we'd be able to handle that.
So if all the stars align, we're saying that the select board final warrant review approval March 17, 2026. That's roughly what, 3 weeks before town meeting?
Yeah.
So the perfect scenario would be, which we're never seem to attain it, is 30 days before town meeting, the finances are done, the articles are done, everything's done. So more than likely, the numbers will be done long before this. But if the board's voting on March 17th on the final approval, then it probably takes a week to put the packets together, or? We're just not giving a lot of people time to review before town meeting.
Well, generally we're working on that in the background, and really what you're doing at this point, the articles are fairly set. You're tweaking words. I want to say it was before the special, there was a debate between, I can't remember the word transfer, and I don't remember what the other word was. But we had a debate between the finance director and town council, again, whether it was transfer or.
But that's why it's so important to get these articles to council earlier, so we avoid that.
Correct.
And that's why we have that so high up on the list. And again, we have individual article review by the select board starting on February 3rd. So,
Okay, so.
Hopefully we'll have plenty of time to get the warrant laid out and ready to go.
So our intent would be on the 17th, there's almost next to nothing for changes, very minimal, revoting something, whatnot. And then we would have a packet ready for taxpayers to review by what date? Numbers in our articles. It's 17th, a Tuesday. So by Friday, it wouldn't be unrealistic to have a warrant article printed, stacks ready for people to have.
Well, we have a posting date of June 30th, so,
Yeah.
that's
March
the official.
30th.
March 30th. March.
That's when it'll be posted.
You're gonna miss it if you.
And John, I.
So 1 week before town meeting?
Yeah, but doesn't mean we couldn't post earlier, right? But that's, that's the last posting day. I hate giving out any warrant before it's posted. I like that, when we hand it out to the public, I like to make sure it is the posted warrant. And that way there are no changes. There's no last minute, emergency, there's nothing like that.
I just like to do better than the 30th.
Well, we can aim for that, but I mean, I think
Correct.
you can't always anticipate everything, and I think that's why, I think the goal is, for us, the goal to get an earlier date is us to stick to all these other deadlines that we have in here. And, every time we push a deadline, that's when staff gets later and later. And
So basically, we're looking at March 17th is the final warrant review and approval by the select board. And then 13 days later, the warrant will be posted.
Correct. I mean, we could shoot for a 24th posting.
yeah, we could certainly,
Okay.
Right. But again, I never want to give out the warrant,
Right.
as
Up to the
confident as you feel. I
Right.
hate to give it out before it's actually posted.
So realistically,
Officially
on the
posted.
March 17th, how long would it take to be
I mean-
comfortable to post it?
I would say a week would be
So we
plenty.
could post it a week earlier.
Yeah, and that's,
To John's thing, now
Yeah.
we'd have 2 weeks before town meeting for the
Yeah.
public to see a posted warrant.
I think the goal should be to get it posted as early as possible.
sure.
Right. I know this is kind of like the latest.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
right.
always
That's the
go
last
earlier.
day you can post.
Last possible,
Yeah.
but I agree with John, we should get as early as possible posted.
All right, so you need a motion to open the warrant and then, and close the warrant on January 21st, correct?
Correct.
January 21st, what day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday?
I think that's a Wednesday.
Well, January 21st at 4 PM?
Yes.
January 21st is a Wednesday.
Okay. So is there a motion to open the warrant and close the warrant on January 21st, 2026 at 4 PM?
So
Sure.
moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
We're going to open the warrant, today.
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 Open it
Okay.
to,
So do we need two separate motions, one to open and one to?
No, it's all,
usually it's all one.
it's all one motion.
Okay.
Open it today, December 16th, 2025. Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
I do have one question. I'm trying to think of how it fits in here. If we have to take care of financial transfers in this fiscal year, can we do that within the annual town meeting, and that's part of the articles, or do we have to have a special within the annual to do that? And if so, how does that factor into if you need any articles to take care of money articles this year?
So I want to say town council has told us that we can do it within this fiscal year. I don't remember the mechanism, but previously, you used to have a special within the annual.
Yeah, we did
But I don't believe you have to do that any longer.
You could just have an article that says we
Correct.
want to
As long-
transfer this year's money into something this year.
As long as you identify fiscal year 26.
Okay, thanks. That's what I wanted to know in terms of, so that would be the same thing, it would just fall into this with articles coming into the,
Correct.
into the
And
annual.
the key thing is to get out to all the various committees and boards that are submitting articles, is if they have an accompaniment, if they have a handout, if there's a map,
Yes.
that has to accompany the article when it gets here. We found out at
Correct.
our last town meeting what happens when that doesn't happen. So I
Right.
think this time, before the board approves an article, whatever it is,
Right,
any
it will be the
accompanying
fin-
material has
correct.
to come along with that article.
Yeah, it will be the final article.
Yes.
So let's talk about that after we vote on this, because I want to, maybe we should make a change on that. So with this, let's vote on the opening and closing first, and then I want to raise that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
So should we have language that says the last day to support articles and all materials? You know, because we just said you submit the article, but if there's material that has to go along with that article, we didn't put in here when they have to provide those handout materials to us.
Well, to me, that's part of the article. To me, that, like I say, that's part of the article.
Is that
If the
clear?
article says it needs to have a handout or a map, then
Although I might like to say in the wording, last day to submit the articles and handout materials is.
sure, if you want to add
Last
that
day
in.
for
I think it's
articles and accompanying materials.
Accompanying
however you want it.
materials.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, if you could just say,
Yeah.
and accompanying
Yeah,
materials.
could you update
For review.
Sure.
update your schedule to reflect that, and make sure everyone's aware of that?
Okay.
Yeah, that way they know.
Okay, so next we need to set a date for town meeting. The proposed date is April 7th, 6:30?
6:30?
Have we cleared that with everybody that needs to?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have reserved the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I believe. Thinking the second day would actually be the 9th.
Is it the 9th?
Yes.
So should the motion be for town meeting on the 7th with the second day on the 9th?
Second day at the 9th, both at 6:30 PM?
Both at 6:30, so that's the motion. Let's plan for town meeting on the 7th and the 9th at 6:30.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? And just to be clear, we've run that by the moderator, council, the school.
Correct,
town
town clerk.
Everybody,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Okay, anything else on the town meeting articles or the date for town meeting? All right. Can you just send an email out to everybody to just saying, hey,
Yes.
we've said it, here it is? Okay, let's see. Discussion and possible vote on committee, board, and commission stipends. Again, Mr. Can, this is something you asked
Yes.
the board to
Yes. So it has been requested to increase stipends for committee members in Carver. We did send out a synopsis of what committees in Carver get for stipends and what the surrounding communities get for stipends. Carver gives out far more stipends than any other surrounding community. I also did an analysis to look at the average of what the surrounding towns are getting that do give out stipends, and if a town is giving out, or multiple towns giving out stipends, Carver's certainly within the average of those towns. Again, we're giving out stipends for committees that no other town in the region actually gives out a stipend at all. Conservation Commission members, Finance Committee, let me see here, Planning Board members. Some towns don't give out stipends at all.
Mr. Cotter, am I correct? These stipends were sent by the governance committee quite a few years ago, weren't they?
I think the last time, I don't want to say the last time, we did a big review when I was on the governance committee, 2016 or something. But we pretty much did the same thing. We looked at surrounding towns, and some were tweaked. I think we did add the finance committee at that particular point in time. And I think some have been changed since then.
And the only other information I could give to the board, and I know the budget books haven't gotten to you yet, they're still working their way through the finance committee, but we've cut multiple departments' requests throughout this year. It's been a fairly tough year, tough financially. No staff cuts at all, which is great, but on the expense side, we've been made a lot of cuts here. So I'm going to recommend to the board here that we do not increase any stipends for any of the boards this year. It's a very difficult year.
I'm right with you. I don't think there's any need to increase stipends.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need a motion, you just leave it.
Well, I think, would you like a motion to just leave stipends where they are?
I would like that, yes.
Okay. Would someone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous, thank you. Select Board appointee for Personnel Code Internal Working Group. Again, Mr. Cannon, like to...
Sure, I think Mr. Cottage to allude to this. We would like to get together that group, kind of the governance board there, if you will, for looking at the personnel code. You heard of citizens come in today. We do have multiple department heads who have resigned recently. Not all for financial reasons, but we want to make sure we're competitive, right, with our surrounding towns. So this is something we want to look at, and we think having a select board member on that committee would be great for us. This is an internal working group, answering just to me. It's going to be very informal. Won't be posted agendas or minutes, but again, we'd like to have a member associated with that group.
Okay, and I will just say for the board's knowledge that Ms. Hewins did send an email to myself and Mr. Cannon earlier, indicating that she would be interested in being on this working group. Is there anyone else that would be interested in being on this working group?
When I first heard about this, I talked to Mr. Cannon and told him that I'd be interested in this group as well. I don't know if having 2 select board members is an issue.
Well, how many people are going to be on this working group? Do you
come up with just only going to be 3 members. It's going to be a very small group.
3 members, including 2 members of the select board? Or 1 member of the select board?
1 member of the select board.
So who are the other members?
It would be myself and Carol Julius, the library director.
Okay.
So we were appointed by a previous town administrator several years ago with a 3rd employee. That employee was full-time at the time. They then became part-time and expressed that they did not have interest in being on it again. I would still open it up to them if they wanted to come join us.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be a limit on the amount of people.
In previous working groups, how many people were on those groups?
For the personnel code, it's always been 3.
Always been 3?
But
1
we
member of the
can-
board, always 1 member of the select
It's
board?
never been a member of the select board.
Okay.
I believe 1 member from our group has always come before the board with the suggestions, and then the board votes on it. It's up to the board. If you want to add more than 1 member, that's fine. So it is possible we might get that other employee to join us again, because we all had good input, and that's what we're looking for. It's just, we're not looking to say, hey, we want all this. We're looking to have good conversations on what's fair, look at it from both sides.
Yeah. But are there votes, you take votes that you recommend to boards, correct?
We come to an agreement on what we'd like to bring to the board. That's why we thought bringing in a select board member might be a good idea, to get the perspective of what they think,
But that might be a
would be
good
amenable.
reason to have an odd number on the board, and not even number, maybe?
Yep, that's up to you.
I think it's always good to have an odd number on the board. Just tiebreaker.
I guess it depends on if there's going to be votes. If there's no votes and you're just bringing something to the board, just saying we recommend we bring this, it may not matter if it's even or odd. I was going to ask that question too, is what is actually the output of the committee, of the group, working group? What are they going to bring, what are they going to produce and bring to the board in the end?
So we don't always agree, which is great.
Yeah.
But we talk it out and come to an agreement of what we think would be fair to bring forward.
Okay.
So it's not votes, it's really just we talk it out, which is why the group has been so great, because we all have differing opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, I'm still not sure. The personnel code, there's that 1 or 2 pager, and maybe I'm using the wrong verbiage, that talked about we changed the fact that if we're concerned, we want to look at job descriptions and things like that. Was that in the personnel code?
Yes. Well, the personnel code has, you know, it's almost like a contract for, you know, non-union employees. So it has vacation, it has vacation time, benefits in there. You know, there's a lot to it. I want to say it's a 20-page document.
So I'm thinking
More
of
than
something
that,
else.
yeah.
I'm thinking about
Yeah.
the one that we voted on was like a 3-page document that had
Mhm.
personnel code in there that said we wanted to be able to access files if we wanted to, whatever that document was.
Oh, yeah, that was just, right, you just did an addendum, like an amendment to it.
Yeah, I
yes.
think you-
So,
yeah.
so the personnel code is a 20-page document.
But that was
Lists
part of it,
all
yes.
kinds of, that was part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also the wage scale, is that in the personnel code? Or no?
Yes, for non-union personnel,
The
yes.
wage scale is part of the personnel
Yes.
code, okay.
Okay. But do you anticipate these
No,
meetings?
no, I'm sorry. That's the wage and classification plan that's approved at town meeting. But it does list all the non-union employees, so I guess it's not an appendix in there, but maybe it should be.
I think it should
That's something
be.
we should look at.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
anticipate these meetings happening during the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to nominate Jim Hoffman to be the select board representative.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I do have a question that was brought up, public comments about the amount of people that's, I think when personnel code, there's been a lot of personnel issues that people have been talking about, so exactly what this group will do. But do you feel, I know the 3 people that worked in the past, in your opinion, because you've been part of this, should we increase that to anybody extra? I know you want a select board member, that's what we voted on, but as far as the overall working group, you know, we don't want to make it a huge thing, obviously, but
I mean, my opinion is the turnover you've seen recently is not related to that. And Glenn can speak more to that if he would like.
Well,
I'd say we may want to make this a future agenda item. I mean, the agenda item is
I
the
don't know
select
if this
board
exactly.
appointee, but if you
Well, you
wanna-
may have something to say during your town administrator update.
Okay.
But I don't know if that turnover really fits the
Agenda item.
personnel
Yeah.
code working group.
and actually the article is the select board appointee.
Right, which we
Yeah.
did.
So if we want to talk about the personnel group,
We probably
working
should
group,
make it a.
that should be another
Right.
item, okay.
Yes, that's the
Right.
recommendation.
I apologize for
No,
that.
It's okay.
no worries. And coincidentally, that leads us to our town administrator update.
Funny that should happen.
And I do have a couple of, just to lead you off though, I will let you know that the tax rate has been certified by the Bureau of Accounts. That's a division of local services, so that's a good thing for the town. We are ready for that. We also will be having our local election for Saturday, April 25th. There are a number of seats that are up this year. I'll just read through them real quick. Board of Assessors, 1 seat for a 3-year term. Board of Health, 1 seat, 3-year term. Carver Housing Authority, 1 seat, 5-year term. Library Trustee, 2 seats, 3-year term. North Carver Water District, 1 seat, 3-year term. Planning Board, 1 seat, 5-year term. Redevelopment Authority, 1 seat, 5-year term. School Committee, 2 seats, 3-year term. And Select Board, 2 seats, 3-year terms. So again, a lot there. Let me see. When the papers due here, I don't see it on my list. I apologize for that. Nomination papers will be available at Town Clerk's office on Main Street Tuesday, January 13th. And then when is
Where's the submission day here? It's a Friday, March 6, 2026, last day to submit nomination papers. So, again, if you're thinking about running, be a good time to go. And again, we did hear about staff members moving on, resigning from the town of Carver. One would be our IT director has moved on to a different private firm. I will tell the board, though, this is one thing I might announce was, we might have a delay in the newsletter. He was actually the publisher, if you will, of the newsletter, so it's put a little kink in our armor right now, so that'll be something that we'll have to work on in the future, but we are working, diligently to replace that position. We did interviews today, and we'll update you as we move along. We do have town staff right now pitching in to help, particularly on the help desk side. So if you have a problem with your computer, we can still assist you with it. That comes from the school side, really helping us out. But we're looking for that IT professional here to be in town hall. Also, the dog licenses for 2026 will commence online December 15, 2025 through March 1st. Requests received after March 1st will be incurred a late fee of $10, so make sure you pay your dog license fee before March 1st, 2026. I do want the board to know that the planning board is talking still about an MBTA zoning article. We did apply for a grant to have technical assistance to help out write that article. I would say with the time frame that we're looking at for the spring town meeting, there's no way an article will be ready for that, but they are working towards that goal of still looking at an MBTA zoning article.
So that would probably be a special town meeting if they were.
I think that would be a special town meeting, probably sometime summer, late summer, fall.
Okay.
One of the resignations we had recently was the conservation agent did resign, I'd say for personal reasons. We are trying to contract right now with a interim conservation agent to help out the conservation commission as they move forward, and then we'll be advertising that position also. So that is moving forward. Again, I did talk a little bit about the IT support, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Quick
question? Yeah.
This one, did we get from the IT manager, obviously he was given $200,000 to go forth in with these upgrades. Did he give us a complete status of where everything's at, so we know when the next person coming in or whoever?
We do, and we've been talking with, certainly with Mike Shaw over at the police department. A lot of that stuff is being housed over there, and he is up to date on everything right now.
So can someone give us a report that says, this is what we approved, this is where we're at, type of thing?
I could ask for a report. We've actually retained the IT manager as a consultant to help us out and to be backup. Our backup actually has his own private firm, and he requested no longer to be our backup. He's so busy with his private business, he didn't want to take it on. So Mr. Neely has agreed to be our backup when we bring on a full-time person. That person goes on vacation or needs a break, a day off, whatever it is. We have a backup.
Yeah, I think Mr. Neely at one point did a bar, almost like a bar graph of the project and when things were tight. So just getting an update on that, just to find out,
Sure.
What's moving.
Okay. Very good.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Let's see. Topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance of the meeting. There are none. So we have a number of minutes this evening. We have the approval of minutes for November 18th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of November 18th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. December 2nd,
I'll make a
2025.
motion to approve the minutes of December 2nd, 2025.
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. December 4th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. And finally, December 10th.
And there's an amendment to the December 10th minutes.
Okay.
It says that the vice chair was absent during the entire meeting. So I'd like to have that amended to say that the vice chair was absent during the executive session but attended the open session.
All right. Is
Make
there
a
a
motion to approve as amended?
Second.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'll abstain, I was not there that night. Let's see, then we have the executive session minutes.
You were
I think we
actually,
missed
you were
one.
there. That was the December 10th one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the one that was at the school.
Yep, that's right.
Where I didn't make.
Made my, sorry, I was looking at a different thing.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. We're all aye.
Aye.
Approval of the executive session minutes not for release for November 18th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes for November 18th, 2025, not for release.
Second.
All right, there's motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Let's see, December 2nd, I'm a little unclear on the motion, Mr. Cannon. Is December 2nd and December 10th for release or not for release?
Not for release.
They're all not for release? Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December, executive session minutes of December 2nd, 2025, not for release.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And finally, December 10th, 2025, not for release.
And I wasn't at that executive session.
Make
All
a
right.
motion to approve the December 10th executive session minutes, not for release.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous.
I'll abstain.
Okay.
Since I wasn't there.
Yep. Select Board announcements. Mr. Hoffman.
Okay. First of all, for those that celebrate, I want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Started the other night. One other person will be leaving, a town employee, Teresa Vernazaro, from the Director of Food and Nutrition Services from the high school. She's done a great job in her 5 years here. As we all, most of us saw, the new booths and tables that were set up in the high school. She helped get the grant for that. Also, the Thanksgiving dinner that she brought forward, that for the last few years we've had that, so hopefully the new director will continue that. It was always nice to see the students and just to be, be included in that. So want to wish Teresa good luck in her future endeavors.
All right, thank you. Mr. Carter.
Nothing much, just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season.
All right.
Same,
Mr. Ryan.
I'll wish everyone a happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and just remind people that the Airport Advisory Committee's next meeting is on January 29th, and they've been working on work with the flight schools on the noise issues, and we have had some Carver participants, and it's open through Zoom, so you can attend through Zoom if you want to listen in, and there are sometimes some of the select board members from Plymouth attend also. So they're going to continue to work on residents' concerns, and Carver's been part of that too.
Great. And I'll just join the board in wishing everyone a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Our next meeting will be on January 6th, 2026. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before we do, I apologize. I forgot that our next meeting will be 2026, so I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy and Healthy New Year as well.
Absolutely.
And this does say next meeting is 2025.
I know it does. I know it does.
So just a correction.
Yeah.
So motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. We're adjourned. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Area 58.